Yeah. Look, cheers, Rob. Look, we don't quite have beards here. I don't really count this, so at least we won't have anything to giggle about. Black and blue, potentially one map away from elimination is Team Viper. Despite a pretty strong run through Korean Open across the year, it may well end here.
Yeah, I mean, they did kind of end up 6th in the Korean Open, so you have to also consider the fact that Korea is a very, very competitive scene. But so far, it has been a bit of a struggle for them here, Team Viper, especially on that opening map on Oregon, Sengoku's pick. But this is their pick this time. We're going to the clubhouse for a bit of a party, and no good party ends early. So I do fully think we're going to go into map number 3 right after. So opening bans and picks here, I'm going to fully expect maybe Maverick to be taken off once again, because we did see him banned in Oregon. This is arguably one of his best maps as well. So Team Viper, or rather Sengoku starting things off, Thatcher, potentially Maverick right after is what I'm going to be expecting, as I said. But man, pressure is on Team Viper right now. That end to the opening map rather, was quite painful.
Oh, that's not something I expected. The Monty ban coming out. Now, we did see Sengoku run Montaigne for a grand total of 1 round last game. And look, it was a pretty powerful Monty, and I guess Viper just don't want to deal with that whatsoever.
Yeah, the 1 round, I think, the 1 round that they saw was enough to kind of convince them, hey, we don't want that. Let's get that business out of here. No funny stuff. Mira, this time taken off of the board. We were expecting her to be potentially banned on Oregon, but that wasn't the case. Will Kaid be removed here once again? Very strong operator on Clubhouse, which we would have liked to see, but no Vigil. My heart burns as a Vigil main, but hey, that's what we're going to go with. Seems like they really do not want to kind of deal with the potential, I guess, old school SSG roam, where you have the really Vigil roam about here and supported by mute jammers, and also Vigil should not be a problem as of the moment, but they're going to have other things to deal with now. Leaving Kaid online is going to be potentially a problem later on.
Yeah, look, it just means that Maverick's going to be pretty much, well, essential. If the defense are defending downstairs and they're kiting those hatches, of course, that you can't use the Hibana, the Thermite, you're going to use the Maverick on it, and that limits you to just 2 hatches with the Maverick. It takes a hell of a lot of time as well, and you got to do it right. You know, it's not the easiest thing to do if you haven't practiced it, so it really just tests your Maverick player. You can see, though, Viper, funnily enough, they're actually 6-picking off the Hibana, one of the most powerful hard breaches on this map, albeit slightly less powerful when Kaid is on the board. You can see that they've 6-picked off of that to try and, I guess, spread out their utility a little bit more evenly. Already got the 2 hard breaches in Thermite and Maverick, so you don't necessarily need any more. And it's really critical that they did keep that Maverick, because the Kaid did end up coming through. So at least Viper still have a way to open those hatches.
Yeah, I totally agree with their change here to go to Flores instead. Like, as he said, that Kaid's going to propose a lot of problems for the Hibana, who would be quite influential here, but this Kaid is really going to have to come in crucial. The Maverick, though, yes, you can open the hatch, but that's going to take a lot more time and going to need an extra man to kind of cover his back when he's trying to work on it. So this could really be a big problem for Team Viper if they do not get the proper timing on this, and especially as well if they waste too much time on this. So lots of reinforcements up above here on the CCTV, and that will potentially hamper Team Viper, who we have seen on the previous map that they do like to clear from top to down quite often, make sure the entire second floor, first floor is clear before they attack the basement site. And with Sengoku doing this, I like the adjustments from them. This could be an opening round win, but we're going to have to see for ourselves as they're going to start to get going here in the second floor.
Oof, Ramu. Very dangerous for Ramu, running straight past that open window. Now the first exothermic charge opening up the Kennel's wall. Like you said earlier, you kind of alluded to when the Vigil was banned out, maybe we won't see as much of Roam. It's a bit of a Roam, isn't it? It's not quite the same, and I believe most of Sengoku have fallen back. But this extended set of utility off-site has really forced Viper to just go through the normal step process, which takes a lot of time. Roam clearing, you can see all of these drones clearing cache and construction upstairs. It's going to take some time. And if enough of that bleeds through, Sengoku are going to be feeling a lot more confident when it comes to that final execute.
Hey, I think it's fine, though, I think, for the opening round for them to try and do this. A lot of teams like to go for a full clear on their opening round just to see exactly how the defense is set up and if they can get away with going for a full clear. If it doesn't work out, then the next few rounds, that's when they're going to be like, okay, let's not clear top floor. Let's just be diligent about holding our flanks off and making sure we got maybe a nomad to try and really block off some entryways. And so That's something that Team Viper are trying to test out the Warriors here as of the moment. This hatch here in stock, not open. That's going to give them blue control quite easily, and that's a crucial position to give on up. I think Sengoku are prepared to, I guess, relieve that position from their own hands and bunker down in the church when the time does come.
Now comes the vertical play from the Sledge. There are a lot of C4s on the defensive side. I believe it's 2, actually. Yeah, look, I'm going to take that back. That's a decent number of C4s. So they could try and go for aggressive plays and take down the poor Sledge, who's just going to be trying to open up this floor. That said, neither Racial nor Neko are really in ideal positions to try and do that. Viper are also trying to deal with these Rotero drones from Flores and prevent them from clearing their solid positions in blue. Overall, Viper have had a pretty strong start here, to be honest.
Well, there's lots of utility already kind of thrown away. Not much time to work with as well. That kitchen hatch is going to remain closed for the remainder of the round, seemingly. And they drop straight into Moto, making things real quick on here. Nades on out, and a great opening pick from Boone to try and control that blue spot. And that gives them another avenue to try and make their way on in, but Neko's completely shredding them apart on the execute dev.
That makes it so difficult now for Viper. Neko of Sengoku has stepped up hugely. Ramu as well. Just Kim Jr. He has the diffuser, but there's no time to plant it. All things considered, a valiant effort from Viper. It was a very, very late push, but you said it, didn't you? Neko held down the fort in church, the double kill, and that kept Viper at bay.
And that's a risky run when you go for an execute in the last 3 seconds. Sometimes, you know, you're not going to be as diligent in clearing out corners because you simply do not have the time to be that diligent. You simply do not have enough space to work with because of that as well. So Sengoku, great job of delaying things down, and more of the same here as what we saw in Oregon, where they really like to bunker down on their defense. There was a bit of a roam, but not as heavy as we would see from a team like Viper, who really like to spread things out on their defense. They were kind of contesting up top, but they were really, really quick to give that up. They knew that this is not a position they have to really try and hold, and all they have to do is try and waste some time, and that's exactly what Sengoku did from the second floor, made their way down below, and really held things down. So great job from them. And this time, we're actually going to the second floor site, so Cash is where they're going to be looked to double down and maybe make some buck.
It's going to test Viper's Maverick juggling, or Maverick tricking, doing the top and bottom of the Kennel's wall. It's going to test how well they can clear garage if they decide to go for a garage push. Otherwise, it's going to test how their con into cash execute is. So we're going to see a lot of new things here from Viper. Sengoku also extending their hold towards Master, which I really like. That's going to make it much more difficult for Viper to go for a con into cash execute. So overall, Sengoku have a really strong setup. So I'm eager to see what Viper are going to do about it.
Sengoku, that has been a hallmark of their defense, like time and time again, that we've seen them here, especially during map number 1 on Oregon, and that's looking to replicate itself here in map number 2. Garage trying to be scouted out, trying to see what they can find, and they're going to try and get working on this big wall as well. Maybe going to want to pressure as well, maybe, I guess, from the window on the opposing side. That could help their case on out. Enemy jammers behind that should be eliminated, as well as the Electro Claw. Oh no, it's going to be kept, rather blown open for the meantime, and this will apply a lot of pressure potentially on the defense. So only real kind of anchor points they've got right now is the rafters and garage, which is a very strong point, but they've got some nades to try and flush him out. Let's see if that's going to be the case.
Yeah, I will say, I really like using the Thermite to open up the Kennel's wall instead of doing the Maverick trick. It's just so much faster. And if they can use Maverick to instead just clear the mute jammers, like you commented on just before, then that's great. It's much more efficient. Also going to be using the Maverick here to try and open up these long angles. You can see how cautious Viper are of aggression from Sengoku peeking outside. I think that's how Galit already took a little bit of damage. It's hard to tell at this point whether their intention is to execute through construction into cash or whether the intention is to try and take garage.
Well, a lot of times you kind of want like a two-pronged attack. So if you're only coming in through that big wall being blown open, it's going to be a lot more difficult to try and get the plant down and a lot more difficult to hold it after. So if they can get another piece of control, as you said, construction maybe, or that garage, or hell, even maybe just the opposing window, that could definitely help their case on out. Garage going to be a strong position for their post plant, but they don't necessarily have that in their hands as of the moment. Galio trying to make his way from down below, and this is them trying to work on the garage, but Yahoon, he knows what's to come. He knows to wait out for that. If they come in through the door, he's gonna maybe pop a cap in them, but same as well, if they come in through that broken wall, then he's ready to try and retaliate.
This is a hard egg to crack right here, though. Sengoku have this crossfire between Ayakan and Yahoon. Yahoon finds one, also backed up by a player in secret and the vertical line, but Viper send it on through, a player in through the breach. Unfortunately for Zero, though, he's the last one left and he won't last long at all. Sengoku really covered each other's backs just perfectly, and that made it so difficult for Viper to get any traction.
Great crossfires, and we might like to say, okay, Team Viper, they're pushing in late, but that isn't necessarily just a choice by them. It's also kind of a symptom of what Sengoku have been applying here, where they're really good at delaying time, really good at making sure Team Viper don't get too comfortable. As you talked about and touched on, you know, Sengoku, sometimes they show a bit of aggression, just every now and then, a hint of it, to try and make Team Viper, I guess, keep on their toes and not be too comfortable just walking in on site. They peek out a window, get some damage on in, and that's enough to keep Team Viper with, I guess, a lot of confusion about, and keep Team Viper guessing where they could be coming from next. And Sengoku have been doing a really good job of making that so. Going now to the other second floor site this time, gym and bedroom, and they got to get to work here, Team Viper, because if they let this one get too out of hand, Sengoku might be taking this series in 2-0 fashion as the scoreline is currently.
Yeah, and look, Xenox and the other boys on the desk talked about how Map 1 Oregon was surprisingly attacker-sided. Now we're seeing already a very, very strong start on the defense for Sengoku. It's not just that it's 2-0, because that in itself doesn't tell you much, but let's acknowledge that I reckon both of those rounds were quite significantly defender-sided, right? Like, Sengoku just looked in control both times through. That does spell a little bit of concern here for Viper. When Sengoku do switch onto their attack, I expect them to be pretty good. So Viper really need to start building some momentum, getting a couple rounds in here. They got to start it. They're going here onto gym, bedroom for the next attack, and this is an opportunity for them with that mirror band out to find potentially an easier attacking objective.
Doing lots of rotations here into logistics, and they do have kind of a pseudo hold as well into that CCTV cache room. Some teams like to completely reinforce that cache room all around through, but they're leaving a lot of sidelines to try and contest with. Gonna make it a bit easier for Team Viper to blow them open, but a bit harder to try and peek as well. So Sengoku, as you said, they have been in the driver's seat this entire half, these entire 2 rounds, and that isn't going to look to change unless Team Viper can pull something out of their hats this time, as both Yahoon and Neko, the two, I guess, kind of projectile denials on the side of Sengoku, are going to be holding down this cache room and making an effort to try and help on in.
That rotate from Yahoon, that was just perfect. There were 2 chances for him to die then, but Viper just couldn't catch him on the rotate. No healing operators from Sengoku, so he will have to live out the rest of this round with low HP. But still, that's better than nothing, isn't it? Now, has Viper taken out that Valcam? There you go. A lot of info denied there. And while they haven't made a proper punish, well, they don't have a pick yet, they've taken some good map control, haven't they? They've got cash, and they've started to really put pressure on this map control.
What's interesting is that construction wall that they did just blow up as Ramo gets a kill is normally a wall that teams would like to utilize as a sightline, but they just left it completely closed, and the whole point of that is to try and deny the hop-in from those windows. And then Jim, as Rachel gets a great kill here. He thought he was safe because the drone was ahead of him, but nonetheless, he brings it to a 5v3.
There must be info from the Valcams here from Racial. I would hedge a bet that that was probably also what led to Ramu finding that opening pick as well. Don't know exactly where all these black guys are, but here comes a potential pre-placed C4. Neko should be able to call that someone's swinging him and call for that detonation from Ayakan. But a 5v3 now for Viper. Still no full breach on this hot tub wall. My god, this is a very, very tall task ahead of them, and a difficult round this will be.
Yeah, this map is a very execute and utility heavy map, and in that case, Sengoku have been winning in both aspects. Gallier here, trying to walk his way up the main stairs, but his contact has been made, and Aiken knows exactly where he is. No Nitro Cell on him to utilize and get this kill, but he doesn't need it anyway. The headshot lands true. It's down to a 2v5. Team Viper crumbling at the seams to get a single kill, but Dev, this is not going to look too well for them. In the 1v4, he's going to need to pull out a hat trick and a half just to make this happen. Time is out. This is the round.
Yeah, I mean, this point is stat padding, isn't it? You can find a couple, credit to LHM, but it doesn't mean anything at the end of the day. Sengoku were throwing themselves at that final Viper player because they knew it didn't matter. That round was already locked in the books, 3-0 for Sengoku, and my god, it has been a dominant start to Clubhouse. Viper haven't come up for air just yet. We've been waiting for them to show us a little bit of the Team Viper that we saw on Oregon when they really brought the fight to Sengoku on Sengoku's own map pick. And now that Viper have the choice of map, it's just not what we expected from them.
You would have expected them to be more prepared, right? And surprisingly enough, that Oregon map was quite attacker favored, but at least during the opening half, and then now Team Viper just cannot find that same success that they did on the attacking side of Oregon as they are now. It's down 0-3 and Sengoku going down to the basement once more. The Jackal this time to be pulled on out. I'm not sure if this is the right move for them. I don't think the roam game has necessarily been a big problem here for Team Viper. I don't think that was their biggest issue, but I guess that's what they feel like could be the proper adjustment in this case. If anything, I think just how much Sengoku are really able to cover themselves, their teammates, and playing off of their own utility is really what's been working for them. He saw there that when, for example, Sengoku were in logistics and the Omai needed help there, Neku, he called his teammate Yahoo to place a Nitro right under him in case somebody does swing him so that Butte can really utilize it. So there's been lots of great teamwork being shown here by Sengoku. Team Viper, as we saw on their attacking side once again in Oregon, that free-flowing style of them can catch some teams off guard, but not Sengoku, not in this case.
Yeah, and it's quite a distinction between the attack and the defense for Viper, right? There was defense where they were striking like a Viper, where they were making those risky plays. On attack, not necessarily so much. Now, I like the idea behind the Jackal, particularly because, you know, they substitute out the Flores, not the biggest impact here. But to me, the operators that are really, I guess, querying my interest would be what Sengoku brought to the table. Lesion, Capcan, Malusi, and Thunderbird are all operators for either damaging or slowing down roamers, or healing up your, clearing, damaging attackers rather, and then you've got the Thunderbird for healing your roamers. So what I reckon here, Sengoku are going to play aggressive. We already see it from Neko. And then they're going to try and bait Viper into walking into those Capcan traps, those goo mines from Lesion. And then, ideally, Sengoku can get back to site and heal up. That's not going to be the case for Neko, though, and a good start for Viper.
Viper really making things difficult here, but it's quickly equalized, at least. Ramu getting that kill in a 0-1. You get that Malusi, he's a big gun. He's been performing pretty well. The top fragger here for Sengoku. To take him off is going to be a big sigh of relief, I guess, for Team Viper, but they still are not even halfway done through this round. Trying to make sure that top floor is going to be in their control as of the moment. Not necessarily going to play things vertically because they are going to be attacking that basement side. So this Jackal is going to make that roam clear at least a bit quicker and safer. But it's not necessarily going to help him, I think, too much when it actually does come down to the execute below in the basement.
Yeah, that's it. So you want to get the value out of the Jackal during the kind of early mid-round, which is swiftly departing. There's just over a minute left in the round, and I really don't feel like Viper have necessarily gotten the most value out of that Jackal. They really need to start getting to work on actually clearing all of this utility. There's a good nade, and that will clear out the Banshee. A second nade from Gallier in the pocket could deal some serious damage. They need an opening, and they need it right now.
Well, they've got two nades left, one on Gallier, one on Kim Jun, and this sledge will help apply some pressure from up top, but they know that they have to get on this. This hatch should be open in the nick of time, but Ram was going to be holding that, and that spear is going to be super, super deadly to try and contest from this angle. He might actually catch the Maverick off guard. Gallier has no idea. He's going to shut him down, a single bullet to the cranium, and he's going to bail on out for Moto.
And this is 20 seconds left in the round. Viper have surely no hope. 3 versus 4. They'll try and thermite open that church wall. Boone pushing, but Ramu's there on the front line. And it's going to be a tough slog here. Boone does find one. And Sengoku have fallen to pieces. It's all on Yahoon. He has to clutch the 1 versus 2. LMH to cover. He's watching the right way. I cannot believe that they just won that. Viper from the 3v4 finally get their first round.
Finally get the job done. But hey, not as of yet are they really satisfied, I guess, with the result. It's 1-3. So if they can tie this up 3-3, Dev, then I really think we're going to map number 3, but Team Viper, that's what they need. And we know that Team Viper are a team that really play off momentum. They went down early on, you know, during that opening half on Oregon, and that's kind of a similar case as to what we're seeing now. But when they did win that final round of the half, they were able to really utilize that momentum and storm back into the game. Just weren't able to close it out, unfortunately, on Oregon, but I think this could be a different case. If they get second round here, we have a real game on our hands. As Team Viper forgoing that Jackal this time, although it did, I guess, kind of help speed up their clear up above during the previous round. But this time, Hibana back once again. No Kaid, so she's going to have a lot more free reign to utilize her utility whichever way she wants. This garage should be opened a lot quicker. They got that Thermite, Maverick, and Hibana, so lots of hard breaches to go around, give them out, throw them away like candy. And Sengoku, once again, going to have to play off of their teamwork, which has been impeccable so far, for the most part.
Yeah, look, the other thing I love from Sengoku is just the way that they play off the info. You know, the Valk and the cameras that she brings to the table. Raciel, very experienced player, been a support player for a very, very long time, been to 6 invitationals, Pro League finals, all that stuff back in the Norengo days. And he's still very hot when it comes to making those plays, enabling his teammates. I love that camera spot. Wow, I had never really thought of that. You put the flashing light on the camera inside the O of the lounge sign, the neon sign. That is pretty genius. Big brain stuff right there.
It's going to be very difficult to see that blue on blue. So, a bit of a, I guess, something you can use and utilize in your own ranked games, chat. As of the meantime, this is something that we know to expect. Flashes on out to clear anything guarding projectiles on the opposite side. Nade will destroy that Mute Jammer, and Big Wall shall be opened. The last time we saw them do this, they tried to also utilize kind of a garage push, but it came in a bit too late. They were going from, you know, that wall that they did open up under the rafters, but as I said, they kind of were pressed for time and it just didn't work out. So if they really want to control Garage, now is the time for them to get on this. You can see a bunch of players here on the Team Viper side on the very opposing west side, and now Garage should be opened up. The rafters, though, that's a different question if they can control it as of the moment, but they got some nades to flush that out.
Yeah, and most importantly, not just the nades, but also the flashes to burn through these magnets from Wamai and the ADSs from Yahoon. Funnily enough, a couple of those ADSs still being placed, so they mustn't be on rafters. But Viper here, they really... Oh, here they are. They're at the steps at the bottom of Garage. Yahoon really trying to fortify his position. Feels so much pressure as all that util spams over through. Still protected by, I believe, a single ADS. Raciel caught off guard. Viper also doubles down. A 5v3 for them now as Kim Jun starts to push on and finds the player inside of Cash. It's all fallen to pieces for Sengoku, and the Koreans might have found a way back into this match. A 5 versus 1 for Ramu. He's found his 19th kill of the series, going for the 20 bomb, but it's going to be a tall order, 20 kills. And now a 1 versus 5 becomes a 1v3. A tall task, but Ramu, if anyone could do it, it would be him. 45 seconds, he makes it a one-on-one! This is insane! An ace to come back from the 1v5, but he can't win it after all that. Team Viper steal it away, and they will be thanking their lucky stars.
The heroics from Ramu almost pulling out the ace clutch, and what a clip that would have been for the opening series of the relegations here of APAC North. But alas, the snakes, the serpent of Team Viper, coming in, slithering, striking, and their venom is deadly. 2-3 in the final round here of the opening half. could tie things up for Team Viper. But man, Ramu, what a performance from him. This guy has been completely tearing it out throughout the series, and that round was a testament to this man's skill. When it seemed so lost, he gave them hope, but it wasn't enough. Barely wasn't enough. But Team Viper, that is a check on the back of their heads. They gotta keep aware that Sengoku, any of these players, especially Ramu, can pop off anytime. No matter how sure the round seems, Sengoku's got something to say about it.
Well, that's it. You give Ramu the opportunity and he's going to take it. You can see that from the fact that he's got 8 kills in this map. He found 14 on the first map. He's on 22 kills on the series so far. And, well, a valiant effort. I certainly would have loved to see the 1 versus 5 A's. I'll give a 1 versus 4 attempt, but LHM winning that 1v1 cannot understate how impactful that was. Imagine Viper just lost that in a 1v5. They would be absolutely tilted, destroyed. There would be no way that they're coming back into the game. So you can thank LHM for putting that doubt to rest.
He is what they need in that moment, but we do have to kind of, as much as we praise the heroics that are coming from Ramu, there were some mistakes that Team Viper had that should not happen, you know? I mean, that red player coming out, just swinging wild, getting caught off guard was really supposed to be the player to shut him down in that moment. And Ramu, I guess, 2 steps ahead here over Team Viper in that moment, but, well, at least Team Viper at the very end get the job done. Final round of the half, and they're trying to make this clear as quick as they can. They know that Sengoku loves stalling so hard, especially in the basement attack like this.
Surely they don't drone. I really would love to see. There's a mute jammer on the master door. There are several I mean, if they knew where he was, they would be wallbanging right now. Ramu has found himself a really cheeky position. They're going to face check everything. There's another drone, another mute jammer up at this next master door. So that drone's not going to be able to go through just yet. Viper are going to have to clear that mute jammer. There's Kim. Oh, LHM. He's on drone right next to him. Ramu! Another kill and another embarrassing moment for Team Viper. How many is he going to get? Just the 1. But that is more than enough.
He does lots of damage to Kim Jun too. Almost taking them down with himself as a martyr. So they do drop the diffuser, but this can be quickly regained. You can see Kim Jun's just being aware in case there could be any more. Ramu, man, he is stepping up to the plate and knocking it out of the park here for Team Viper. Rather for Sengoku, that's exactly what they need to try and retain this lead that they've built up in the opening half. Team Viper, though, they've got something to say about that. Nitro's out. They could potentially use that to make Kitchen a lot more difficult to come in through. But nobody playing there as of the moment. Kim Jun making some vertical holes, but that's not going to come into play just yet.
My question is, will Viper actually go for Kitchen Hatch for once? Because they never seem to. Oh, they're going to get caught off guard by that C4. Oh, there you go. See you later, Sledge. Perfectly timed. Thank you very much, Neko. Now, Viper just have 3 players left, and with Hibana going into dirt, that's 1 less hard breach that's going to be opening up those hatches. Viper don't have a great position, and they're going to be taking a massive risk here. 2 players going together. Yahoon gets the double. 0-1, the last man standing for Viper. 3 players left from Sengoku, and that diffuser down in dirt, which Yahoon can defend nice and easy. The Japanese expressing their dominance with some pre-fires and some impact grenades, but there's no way Viper's winning that. Another great round for Sengoku, and they can win the half 4 rounds to 2 on their defense.
Yahoon the Goon walking in the dirt and burying them in it with that shotty up close and the nade prepped in hand. You certainly know he was going to win that as soon as he swung it. So great job there from Yahoon to find the proper timing. Initially his position was given away, but I mean, very dangerous to try and cook a nade up close like that when you're up against any of these SAS operators. So great job by him. We're switching over to the second half, and this time, Gym and Bedroom to be picked by Team Viper to start things off. Not the most common sight for teams to start off, but here in APAC, that isn't too far off the mark.
Yeah, look, I love a Gym Bedroom, especially when Frost's on the board, and we can see that Galia is 6-picked onto that. Mira has been banned out. That's another really powerful operator on this objective, but with the Frost, you can still do a lot of damage. Also depends on how good your team is at holding on to cash, because if you can delay a lot of time or find a pick or two holding cash, you can really slow down teams and really rely on your anchors at the end to clutch out a round. So we'll see if Viper have been practicing this. We'll see if they're ready for it. This is, of course, their map pick, so you better hope so.
I mean, that's where you would expect Team Viper to really hold things down. Well, defensive side this map is, but we're gonna have to see Team Viper really perform to make this happen, because Team Viper, they've been struggling on the attacking side, could have potentially won the previous round, but Sengoku one step ahead. This Electro Claw will propose a small problem here for Sengoku. I do believe that they should be well equipped enough to get this open. They got the buck this time to try and make things a lot more problematic from down below. So if they can get that hell lobby in their control, then they could potentially just completely shred up the interior of that cash room.
First time we're seeing a Mav trick this entire game. But you can see that Yehoon, this is not his first rodeo. He's done that many times before. And easy as you like. Open sesame. Neko can remove the soft bit of the wall after the reinforcement falls through. And Sengoku already have a deep line of sight looking into CCTV. There is, however, a defender, Kim Jun, playing aggressively in this position, eager to take down at least the drone. Needs to be careful, though, because Ram is right around that corner.
Well, he did kind of suspect that to be the case. Seems like he's fallen back to safer, I guess, gates. 0-1 holding here on top of red stairs. And he's going to hold that down really, really diligently for the meantime. He knows that his power position is going to be crucial for stopping the entry to be quite easy for Team Viper here. Kim Jun,
wow,
great frag by him to get the buck offline. That gives them what they need to come back into the game.
Yeah, this is actually a really good start now for Viper, finding a pick and then falling back. So there's no chance for a trade here. Sengoku, they had some good positions, which now they've somewhat abandoned, but they know that losing a player, they know that Viper is likely pushed back. Rami better take care of that camera in bar. Ooh, he's leaving it up. I think that Viper think they were covering that angle. It might not matter at this point. I mean, Kim's just peeking everyone. Viper are looking well in control. Ram is about to walk past a Banshee. Now he's in a 1v5. We've seen this happen before, haven't we?
Certainly so. And if we know anything from the last time this happened, do not count him out. He's taking lots of damage,
Look
though.
at them run away.
Yeah, LHM, he knows that, okay, I know this man, what he did the last time. I'm not going to give him the chance this time. I'm going to just fall back, let him play into what we want to, let him walk into our sights this time, because he's the one who has to make a play here. He's the one in a lonesome. And Ramu gets another kill. Okay, he's making it happen. This nade could be deadly if it lands perfectly on the Kim Jun, but that's not going to be the case here, as he's safely in that hallway. Cannot be destroyed from underneath. And Ramu, 10 seconds left. Dev, I think this is done.
I mean, Ramu's actually nuts. Can I just take a moment to appreciate? Viper might have won that round, but Ramu is nuts. I don't know how he wins all these fights, honestly. Even though his info on the defender there, the defender had info, his teammate on the camera calling out, pinging, saying, hey, he's right there, peek him. Ramu, don't know if it was audio or game sense, but he just flicks to him. Even those nades, just perfectly cooked. He read the common spots, even though, of course, he didn't happen to get them that time. Good on Sengoku. That said, you know, we find ourselves coming into round 8 with Sengoku only one round ahead. I gotta say, Nico, I feel like Viper are punching a bit above their weight here. They've kept this surprisingly close.
Well, I do have to agree that they are punching above their weight, but when you're the underdog and you're punching up, that means you're going to hit the chin every single time, because they're not going to expect that punch coming from so down below. Sengoku, this is where they could be caught off guard, because Team Viper, I guess Sengoku kind of knows that Team Viper picked us for a reason. They know that this is one of Team Viper's best maps, but do they know exactly what they've got in store? That round from them seems to look a lot better than their entire opening half on the attacking side. And that, I think, is a good sign of things to come here for Team Viper. They're going to really have to step it up. And I do think that, I guess, that's every intent of theirs to do so. And it seems like they're capable of doing it as well. You said they're punching up you said they're kind of the underdogs. Well, everybody loves to root for an underdog story, and I do think that Team Viper here are big fans of making this to map 3.
Oh, no doubt that'll be what they're gunning for, and despite the attempted 1v5 from Ramu, it doesn't seem to have rattled Viper's confidence too much, because since then they've managed to still win a round, and it's not a terrible shot for Viper. Keeping it close here as they start on their defense. Sengoku, though, just didn't quite have everything ready on their last attack. They started to get taken advantage of, and we knew from Oregon that Viper liked to make aggressive plays, but Sengoku just weren't keen enough. They weren't ready for those aggressive plays here on Clubhouse.
You know, surprisingly enough, if there was a team to pull out the Jackal, I would have expected it to be Sengoku, knowing how Team Viper play on the defense, as he pointed out. So that's one aspect that I would kind of like for them to try and utilize if this round 8 doesn't go their way here for Sengoku, and potentially could be the case. Taking some time to make sure that there's nobody up top, but that isn't completely confidently in their control as of the moment. Neko holding down that steel stairs in case enemy does come from it on the rotation, as the basement site shall be held. Neither hatch has been opened yet. They're trying to work on this meeting hatch in just a bit of time, but I mean, 0-1. I don't know if he placed down both Electro Claws, but he could potentially trick this. Actually, he did. One on that stock hatch, the other on the meeting hatch, so rather bar hatch. So this should be opened up. They got that Maverick to open up these hatches, but they only got 2 to work with.
Interesting. So Raciel is gonna get the moto hatch instead of doing the full like Mavericking open the hatch. They decided it would be faster if they used a nade and then got the thermite to do it. I like that. Are they going to get the kitchen hatch though? That's my question. Don't know if Thermite has an exothermics yet. I believe, he's got one left. Even though you're vulnerable to C4s, I reckon you got to go for that one. Get Ayakan to try and cover you through the vertical holes. You want to try and open that kitchen hatch. Not once this game has the kitchen hatch been opened. And we've seen how difficult it was for Viper to attack when that happened on their side.
I think a factor too for them to use the nades to try and open the hatch and, you know, I guess supplement the thermite to open that hatch is the fact that Team Viper do not have a single deployable shield on their side, so they know that they don't have to use those nades for anything else in terms of utility. There's no other bulletproof items that they have to try and get and dealt with, aside from these Banshees, of course. But Kim Jun, he finds a great pick here, and Gallier could find the same as well with that shotgun in the dirt. 5v1, and Team Viper holding things down. A flawless round to end this off, and they've tied the game here, Dev.
How many 5v1s have we seen? And the one always seems to be Ramu. I don't know what it is. That's the third one this game. When Viper locks it in without even giving him a kill this time. Sengoku calling a technical timeout now, but Viper has certainly found that momentum on their side, and hopefully for them, they can retain it through this technical pause. Like you said, even scoreline, not somewhere I expected to be, but Sengoku now getting a bit punished for only being able to win 4 defenses in their half. It definitely looked possible for them to win the 5, but they weren't able to get it across the line. Team Viper back in the game though, credit to them. Are we potentially feeling that they could push for map 3?
I'm a believer. I feel it in my bones that I really do think Viper, they got what it takes. This is their nest. This is their pit. The Viper's pit, of course, is not one you want to walk into. And Viper, well, they have been looking so much better here on the defensive side than they were on the attack. I mean, that's to be expected. Clubhouse can be quite a defender-side map a lot of times, but it's been something that has been really a big contrast as to what we saw prior, honestly, even Oregon. So really good job here from Team Viper, and it's curious to see as well, as you pointed out, that Ramu's always one of the last players to stay alive, which you don't normally expect from an aggressive player like him, who's normally on like the Yana, or of all things.
Baiting his teammates, I wonder? It's the nature of how it pans out. He's often late rounds, he's not necessarily entry, he's looking for that flank while the rest of his team is pushing something, but like consistently, I think that's 2 rounds in a row now, where it feels like we've blinked and then Viper have had 3-4 kills. They're just really reading these positions of Sengoku really well, and then making aggressive plays while they're defending on the back of it. It does cause for some concern now. For Sengoku, they failed the gym attack, they failed the church attack. Next up is going to be Cache CCTV, which won't be easy, even if they can start breaching, getting a lot of these walls open. We've seen how powerful roamers can be on this this bomb site, and we've seen that Sengoku are not flawless as well. I expect we'll see Viper having a lot of opportunities to continue making aggressive plays, and if Sengoku doesn't tighten up, they could be pushed to map 3 here.
Yeah, and as I talked about a while ago, knowing that Sengoku, rather Team Viper, are a team on the defense that likes to spread out a lot, and I really do think that's part of the reason why Vigil isn't here, because that roam game is kind of the baseline of how Team Viper like to play. But they haven't pulled out the Doki, they haven't pulled out the Jackal yet on the Sengoku side, and that's something I do think they should try and utilize here, because even though they've been getting, like, say, top floor control on the basement side attack quite quickly, they're not doing it in enough time that they feel confident enough to really have more than enough, I guess, space and time to work with when it comes to opening the hatches. You see them opening the hatches with like a minute 20 left, which isn't too bad. But then again, they're not able to springboard off of that to really try and execute with enough time to be diligent enough on their attack as well. So if you're a team like Sengoku here and you're struggling to try and get yourselves at the, I guess, not even at the gate to try and, execute onto the site, it's more of getting within the site itself. Maybe trying to change your composition up wouldn't really be too big of a problem. I mean, Viper, they're doing really good right now, and to say that they've been stepping up and knocking it out of the park come the second half would be an understatement, because this completely looks like a totally different momentum shift in their favor now.
Absolutely. Coming into the APAC North relegation, just talking among us talent, like, we had a lot more expectation in the Japanese teams than in the Korean teams. And funnily enough, Sengoku, while they have a lot of pedigree, while they've got players like Raciel Ramu who have international experience, while the name Sengoku goes back very far in Rainbow Six and in other esports as well, while they did manage second place in the Japan League over the course of the year, they have had disappointment after disappointment that they've been met with. For example, when it came to the finals at the end of the Japan League, the Japan Championship, they were eliminated early by a Japan Open team, Blue Bees. They came 9th, 12th in that tournament. They went into the 6 Invitational APAC North Open qualifiers and were eliminated early as well by another, an RGL team, Donuts USG, and that was a dominant 7-1 as well. So we've seen Sengoku have the candy dangled right in front of their faces and it's snatched away before they can grab it time and time again. So a team with this much expectation, they're also a team that struggles to get things across the line. Now that the pressure is starting to mount, now that a Korean Open team is starting to really give them some strife, the question has to beg, is Sengoku going to have what it takes to weather through that storm?
I do think they are still the favorites to win this entire series, but this map specifically is looking to turn the way in Viper's favor. I do think they have the advantage here because, well, first of all, it is their map pick, but they do really know how to play things around when it comes to Clubhouse. Oregon, maybe not as favorable when it comes to the roaming free flow style that they like to play. But when you come into Clubhouse on the defensive side, that really plays, I guess, positive notes to how Viper like to play. And we do kind of mention, their Korean Open team, Team Viper. They finished 6th in the Korean Open, but you can also argue, I mean, the Korean Open's arguably one of the most competitive kind of national leagues we have in the entirety of APAC, both North and South. And so there's definitely lots of competition there. And for them to finish 6th isn't even a slight on them because, as I said, there's lots of great teams in that tournament, in that competition. So for them to be a Korean, I guess, an open team doesn't necessarily mean too much, aside from the fact that it's just coming from a really good region. And for the Japanese side here, Sengoku, they also had lots of expectations for them, arguably more, as you said, compared to Team Viper. But after map number 1, it did seem like they were the team to beat here in this series, and I still do think that. But I think the lines, if it was ever in their favor, are slowly being blurred here by Team Viper, who are really making a case for them to potentially even, extend this further than just this map.
It's true. Look, Viper definitely don't have as much expectation riding on them. Another thing, on top of it being, like you said, they came 6th in the Korean Open, that actually makes them the 2nd seeded team coming to this tournament. The reason they got here, as a 6th place team is because the top 4 are all APAC North teams already. So Recon, who was 5th place, they went to they got qualified for this relegation. The Team Viper in 6th, so essentially 2nd seed from Korea. So basically what we have right now is the lowest seed Korean team versus the higher seed Japanese team. So the Japanese should really have the advantage here, and the fact that Sengoku haven't been able to stamp out Viper just yet on map 2, definitely a cause for concern and a cause for celebration for Viper, of course, and Korean fans. Like you said, Korean Open is very competitive. We've seen Korean Rainbow Six teams become more and more competitive, particularly seeing teams like Damwon Kia go overseas and have fantastic performances at the majors. They'll be heading to SI alongside Sandbox as well, another Korean team with a lot of history. It's going to make it very difficult for Sengoku to just brush aside Viper, knowing that they have such good experience against these high-level teams.
Yeah, I mean, Viper, they have been a complete, I guess, surprise to the Sengoku side. I'm sure they were kind of prepared and knew that they could not just get complacent versus a team like Viper, but hey, they're really being kind of showed up here by Team Viper. So things have been equalized, but we're not really out of the woods just yet. It is 4-4, but we're on the defensive side now for Team Viper, who did pick this, and for them to actually have quite a fluid composition in terms of who's playing what in the 2 rounds that we've seen on our defensive side really goes to show that this team, they have no problem flexing at all. You'd see like on the first round on Jib Bedroom, LHM being on Melusi, second round it's going to be Kim J, and then they forgo the Frost altogether. So they're a team that really likes to change things up round per round per round, and for a team like Viper, when they do that, it's going to make Sengoku's job of trying to read what's to come a lot harder, because you're not even going to have the same players playing the same operators in every round anymore, and that's going to make things a lot more harder to read. So different players, different tendencies. Sengoku, they're going to have to find some way to read this, but it can be very difficult knowing how Team Viper, I mean, we saw there on that previous round with just, you know, Kim J waiting inside that bathroom, waiting inside those showers, and they had no idea it was going to be there, pulling out their cams when they least expected it, and he strikes when they least thought so as well.
Well, if there's one thing for certain, it's that Sengoku can't just rely on Ramu to 1v5 every single round, because that is not going to be a viable strategy. Team Viper look like they might be on the comeback. We're just finishing off a technical pause. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
Yeah. Ow! Yeah. Y'all think too small, I got big dreams. You just starting, I'm way ahead at the end scenes. Started reading and dodging all of the quick schemes. Money like your Spotify, boy, I got 10 streams. And I'm still looking for more. My people, they got a soar. I'm putting that on the Lord. Ain't accepting, ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids, just kids. That's wealth, years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out to finish this bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the grind on the cars is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live. And I promise I'm trying to. Before you count me out, homie, let me remind you. They was blocking the shine, now I think it's my time to. Counting them dollar signs like lights, they'll blind you. Let me rewind to. Back when I was broke and I couldn't acquire 2 cents, and now I got 2 rents. They was sleeping on me, homie, must have got too big. Call my phone, I be like, who this? Damn right, hell yeah, I'm brand new. Smell like can too. I'm fresh forever like canned food. Try and tell me what I can't do. I wanna see the world, my vision on Shamu. That mean I got goals that's real big, foes that's real big. Your offer too little, sorry, my soul is real big. Coming into the ring with blows that's real big. I gotta do it big, that's the only way I can live. I gotta do it big. I gotta do it big. I gotta do it big. Gotta do it big, that's the only way to live. I gotta do it big. I gotta do it big. I gotta do it big. Gotta do it big. That's the only way to live. Come on. Yeah, come on.
Welcome back, and apologies for the delay. Sengoku are all back in the lobby, and we are ready to go. Viper have just made a strong comeback here, switching onto their defense side, won 2 rounds in a row. And, well, Nico, they are looking like they're putting up an incredibly formidable contest to Sengoku.
For sure. We're back in action, and Team Viper has finally found some traction under their feet to really stand here and make this a real series. 4-4, and they're looking to extend this even more. Team Viper pulling out the smoke, the mute, double SAS, lots of entry denial, but also lots of big guns on that side. They do have the Jaeger, who on LHM, I mean, guys, remember, forgo the stats. We reset the game. Everybody's a 0. We're obviously at round number 9. But continuing on, yeah, Cash Room once again, which is actually every site that they've picked here. 2 rounds, 3 rounds we're in now in this half. The Team Viper have been perfect, spectacular on the defensive side. I'm going to expect more of the same as we move into this.
We're actually seeing the resurface of Blackbeard here from Ayakon, but that was previously played by Sengoku from was Yehoon on Oregon who was playing it. We talked a lot about that Blackbeard pick. Not something you see every day, but something that happened to work out really consistently for Sengoku, funnily enough. Whether it'll work here remains to be seen. I personally would rather have another set of nades if it was me, but you can't question it if it works, right? Like we said the same thing on Oregon.
What was funny is that in Oregon, they're pulling it out into a basement side attack, which you wouldn't normally expect. Here, I can kind of make a case for it, but the run out is perfect. He gets the one down, but not the kill. He goes to the Claymore, and the trap has been set. He didn't even know he was going to do that, but they were prepared for it anyways.
Oh, that is so gutting. Kim got the kill onto, or got the down onto Ramu, couldn't secure the kill. 0-1 is so tempted to go for that and try and follow up, finish off Ramu. That would have been a huge pick as well. Even just putting this much damage onto Ramu is quite a significant feat. And Sengoku, well, fortunately for them, they have that opening pick at a significant cost though. But Sengoku have now managed to also open up a strong access point as well. So you can't really fault them too much.
Unfortunate there. Well, fortune favors the bold, typically. But in this case, not so. Ramu getting away with it. Seems like the fortune has been in his favor. Been really lucky so far this entire series, and that's a perfect case of that. But now they're working here on this, well, CCTV room. Playing that, southern window and making sure, rather, western window. But they do not have that big wall opened as of yet. No construction push as of the moment. They don't have control of anything much else, as Aiken kind of ignoring the shots flung at him from the bottom of those steel stairs, as LHM's really going to live up to that Viper name and trying to sneak around, really sneaky beaky like.
Yep, absolutely. It's what's on the agenda for them. Just look at this from Ramu, so far back. Yehoon's also found his way into Con, eager to try and nade the utility off this wall so that his teammate can breach it open. At some point, oh, hello, 0-1 just swings into construction and finds that pick. That's a really pivotal one too. The Maverick going down, the nades dying with him. Really big concern now for Sengoku. Will they actually be able to find a breach? Will they actually have an entry point here onto the bomb site?
Oh, Sengoku. Oh, look at this pressure being applied here. Viper.
Oh my God.
Oh, they barely win out that fight. LHM, low HP on him, but he's gotten the kill. Down to a 4v3, 20 seconds left on the clock, and Aiken walked his way into his demise. Boone catching him off guard, but in the garage he shall remain from whence he came. Triple kill now on Racial, and they close it out with 0-1, getting them another round, and they get the lead as well.
Not a terrible one there for Team Viper, and just like that, another defense round 1 for them. G'day, guys. Nice to see you all again. Look, they've now won 3 in a row. They've done a full circuit of 3 different bomb sites, and with that, they're 2 rounds off of pushing to map 3. Starting to feel that momentum building. I'm starting to feel that excitement, starting to feel the hype. Sengoku really need to step it up. This has been a very defense-favored game. Sengoku have struggled to break in on their attacks, but forfeiting 2 defense rounds in the first half is really where this problem started for them.
Yeah, this has been quite a big conundrum, to say the very least, for Sengoku. Not a single attacking round won by them, but hey, this could be where they kind of mirror what happened on the opening half in the opposing way, where Team Viper lost 3 rounds, came back with 1, and then it continued on from there. Sengoku, they've lost 3 rounds now on this attacking side, and this is their opportunity to tie things up because Team Viper, single round away from match point and a single round between them and tying things up. So gym, bedroom, very, very strong hold when we saw Team Viper play this a while ago, and Sengoku, well, pressure's on them to make stuff happen this time. A lot of teams like to come in here from, you know, that whole CCTV cache side, control that cache room, make sure they cannot hold across in a construction, open up the Logi hatch and work on things from there. That's typically how lots of teams like to go if they can't get that big wall opened. And in this case, I don't think that should be a problem. The only thing stopping them is a mute jammer. And Sengoku, I think they're ready to deal with this Flores pick coming on Aiken this time.
Yeah, particularly they'll be looking to clear out the shields from Frost and Smoke. So gonna have to be extra cautious. The mute will always help. Clearing, okay, this is not something you see every day. Using the external drone hole to clear that barbed wire really early on in the round. I like that. It just forces Viper to be a bit hyper cautious about the stairs. And, well, if they are relying on that barbed wire and it's not there, they might find themselves with an unexpected flank.
Yeah, it's not something that they can just idly leave to its lonesome this time. So opening up the big wall here towards that gym side, they're gonna try and do the same here towards the cache side as well. It should be, as it's been tricked, using a lifeline to really utilize that. You can see Ramu this time. He's aware that those runouts can come. He's gonna be making sure to look over his shoulder next time he passes through there. They're working on garage as well, so they got a 2-pronged attack. One from the south. Rather, one from the west and one from the east. Really gonna try and pincer into the site itself as they go for that execute. Using the Rotero drone to destroy whatever utilities nearby that window. Nothing much to be found as LHM and Zero are gonna be in charge of having that responsibility of keeping the cache site, well, rather cache side locked down.
Only one more Rotero left. Attempt at a C4 from Kim. Like the effort, but doesn't find anything. No damage onto these Sengoku players as of yet. 0-1 replacing some utility. These ADSs transferred, I believe they were over on the cache side. Now they're protecting him aggressively inside a gym. Sengoku looked just about ready to pounce, but Kim's ready for it. Yehoon gonna go send it in, but 0-1 is there ready to receive. Sengoku continuing to struggle tremendously on their attacking side, and Viper are very much in control here. A 5v2 now. It looks like it might already be over, and match point may be well within Team Viper's grasp. Raciel and Rama, the OG duo, left to hack it out.
Yeah, a few steps away here, Dev, from bringing us to the potential final round of this map number 2 here on Clubhouse. And Kim Joon's gonna shut things down with a flawless at the end of things, a double there to close off the round. Match point seized and taken by force here by Viper. Great job from them, and something we have to note, almost every single attacking round from either of these two teams have been really, really difficult for them to even springboard themselves into the site. So I mean, it's a defender-sided map, but this is really looking to prove that case to be. Will we end 7-4 as we did in Oregon? Could be likely.
I got to admit, I expected more from Sengoku here on Clubhouse. They have struggled, haven't won a single attacking round as of yet. Team Viper having a field day on their defense. Surely this Cav is a 6-pick. There you go. Just trying to add some insult to injury. Sengoku have a 6-pick of their own, but it's on something far more chaotic. The Thermite exchanged for a Ying.
Well, will they actually really utilize this to the fullest extent? Don't always see a Ying pick, but hey, when it comes out, when it rains, it pours. So, in this case, Sengoku gonna try and throw basically a Hail Mary and see if this, I guess, entry by force is gonna work out for them. Lots of times, when you have a Ying on your team, it's not the most fashionable way, nor the most, I guess, sophisticated way of making your execute work. But hey, sometimes brute force, sometimes just go in and dry is exactly what you need, and those Yin Candelas can certainly turn the tide of the execute itself when they do go for it, but they're gonna have to time this perfectly. Make sure none of the rest of their team is blind, and Team Viper do not have a warden to try and fend this off, but they've got other things to really make things more cumbersome. They got this Capgun, which does actually kind of stifle the Ying just a bit. Sometimes Ying, she's gonna face check things with her Candelas, and if she isn't diligent about checking these doorways and pathways, and those could be crucial.
Yeah, definitely for Sengoku. They get caught in a couple of those EDDs. Well, that will be very lit up, looking very concerned for the rest of the round, especially considering these days, you know, you can stack 2 of those on a single doorway and actually kill outright any player who's not careful. Very powerful Capcanners these days. Oh, this is going to be surely a free wallbang. He's just barely off, but the crossfire, Neko secures it. And, well, Sengoku, fortunately, have the opening pick here. LHM taken down with no response from Viper.
That's one of the best starts we've seen from Sengoku here on their entire attacking half, and this could be where they try and come back and force this game into overtime. Neko, walking his way in the gym. Well, I mean, he's got his replicator, but gonna try and face check things instead. Same thing here coming from the rest of Sengoku. As Aiken gonna try and drone things out for him, making sure nothing's coming their way. They're trying to attack this, once again, from a two-pronged kind of perspective, but that theory of theirs hasn't been working out on this attacking side. This case could be different though, as they did find that opening pick to give them a bit more leeway.
Ooh, that... Okay, I thought for a second that C4 got shot through the floor mid-air, but nonetheless, no impact on that C4. Sengoku now, they've had a good start with the opening pick, but there's a lot of work to be done. You can see all of these players, Yahin particularly, checking for Capcan traps on these doorways, being ultra cautious. They need to get to work though. There's a lot to be done. Opening up all of these hatches is going to take a lot of time. Eventually though, no doubt the execute will come in the form of that Ying. The Candelas will need to have a massive impact for Sengoku to keep alive on Clubhouse.
We're gonna have one chance at this with the time remaining. That Ying is gonna really help him, I think, when it does come to pass. But Boonies gonna get that opening kill on the Yahoo and a big gun to be taken off the board here, and not much else to work with after losing that Maverick in terms of opening up hatches. So they have to get on this. Blue trying to be seized and controlled here by Raisel. Gonna burn all 3 of his Candelas just to try and control this. Make sure nobody's behind him, but he does not even check LH01 who's right behind him. Dev, this is all crumbling apart, but they brought it down to a 2v3. Potentially match point could go into overtime here if they do find another kill.
Just 0-1 left now for Viper, and Ramu from behind punishes him. Sengoku, it was a bit messy. The Ying was not all that it was cracked up to be, but Sengoku managed to stick it out for another round. Full regulation is required. Sengoku have an opportunity here to push for overtime.
Final round of reg to come on in. Round number 12, and Sengoku, with that momentum that they've taken on that final round, I don't think the Ying was too actually influential in that win. I really don't think it really brought them too much value. I do think where it did come on in though is the fact that at the very least you could argue that she pulled a lot of, I guess, attention towards that blue side. And so when the rest of Sengoku came in, you know, through the hatches and came in through that front door, then they just seemingly were caught off guard by it. It came down to 2v1 near the end of things, but they get the job done, and this allows them to, as you said, potentially give us overtime. But second floor held twice here by Team Viper on the defensive side, and won twice by Team Viper as well. Sengoku, I'm not sure what has to be changed up here. Maybe early garage control could help them, but that's easier said than done.
Previously, Sengoku tried to force construction rather than really clearing out garage thoroughly. And honestly, I think Focus Garage, they tried to split their attention and it really did not pan out for them. Particularly, there was a player, I think it was the Maverick, Yahun, he was trying to nade over the top of that construction wall to clear off the electrical and cache, he just gets swung from the side. Like, Sengoku were not expecting that aggression. What have we been talking about since this very start of this game, back on Oregon? We've been talking about how Team Viper like to play aggressive on their defense. If Sengoku haven't clued into that by now, then, I mean, there's not a lot of hope for them for the entire of the series, let alone the map. But I'm pretty sure that they should be able to get a pretty strong idea that they got to dedicate to something, and they've got to be ultra cautious because Viper are going to throw bodies at them.
You know, I would wager that they probably have some notion that that's how Viper have been playing. They're on the server itself, so they should know best of all. But Sengoku, we haven't really been seeing them change their composition to try and accommodate that, or try and counter that. So no Jackals, no Doki, as we talked about, nothing to really help them get that information, hell, even a zero. Really sticking to their guns, which I don't think necessarily is wrong, but it's the path they chose. Might not be the best, but it's what they're going with here. That wall should be opened up after the breaching charge with the Maverick trick as well. You can try and work on construction, the same thing they did during the previous time they tried to attack the second floor site. Not going for gym, which could be crucial, but as I said, it's a very difficult option to take.
Like that from Neko on the other side of the map as well, just really cautiously watching rotations. That said, I don't believe he's going to catch anyone off guard. There's not a lot of downstairs roam from Viper, at least those who are much closer to the objective on that lounge side. And Sengoku's now taking control of Master. Ayakan opening up these lines of sight towards construction as well. That's where they'll be pushing on through. Yehoon as well in tow. What is that wall bang? Ramu's going to be filthy mad about that one. Kim, a nice early pick onto the probably top fragger of this entire series on either team. Neko looking for a refrag, but he'd be walking straight into a dead crossfire.
He might be the top frag, but he's been getting the short end of the stick here so far in this half. Neko, oh, little does he know, right around the corner, as soon as he pies that or comes through the gateway, then he's going to be shut down because there are two players here holding down the cross. But no, he finds the kill anyways on Kim Jun. What was that? He had the information, but still lost the fight. Neko down low, though, taken very low in his HP. 45 seconds left on the clock, a quarter out of the timer. And the nade, actually, no, does not connect. Rachel will be taken on down. Aiken finding one. They're all storming on site. Sengoku bring it down to a 1v3. Now they're going to force overtime if they get another kill. It's down to a 1v2 here, Dev, with LHM all in his lonesome.
The telltale sound of the barbed wire should give his position away as that diffuser secured on the ground. Ayakan and Yehoon. Ayahan on the other side of the server rack. The pre-fire is so close, but not close enough. And Sengoku lock it in, the overtime. It is alive and breathing, ready for Sengoku to make this comeback happen.
Just when they need it, they come back. After losing quite a few rounds in a row, they come back with the two that they needed to bring us into overtime. They came into that half in a very, very good spot, and now things have been equalized. OT once more. Actually, OT the first time around here in the relegations on our very first series of this whole darn thing. And the Frost to be picked here by Booney. This could actually catch him off guard. I mean, the Frost is something that at your initial conception, you wouldn't have expected it to really work in comp, but pro players, they get caught out more so than you expect, so that thing can really be deadly, especially including the entire kit she's around. That shield, the shoddy to really help them on their site defense and setup. Frost has been gaining a lot of notoriety in the past year and a half, and for good reason.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, one thing that just weighing on my mind here, typically in best of 3 map vetoes, when Team A, in this case Viper, chooses the map, then Team B will get to choose the starting side. And they chose a start defense, and then Team A will then get to choose a starting side in overtime. So you can see Viper here going with defense. They're really putting their eggs into that basket. And on paper, it absolutely should mean an advantage. They're now going to gym and bedroom, the only bomb site that Sengoku hasn't been able to win. But of course, even if this goes to 7-6 here, Sengoku do have a very strong chance of pushing to the 15th round on their own defense and then locking in that 15th round as well, because this gym bedroom site will be locked. Keeping things now reeled in on this first round, it's even more critical that Viper land this defense.
what's crucial is that the 2 rounds that Sengoku were able to win on their attacking side here were on the sites that they saw for a second time. They won Church and Arsenal the second time around, and they won Cash and CCTV the second time around. But Gym and Bedroom, they've gone through this twice and have yet to win it. So maybe, perhaps, third time's the charm here for Sengoku, as Kim Jun finds the opening pick on the Aiken as well. That's a big shutdown to get your Maverick taken off the board. So much soft, rather hard destruction, and no more things that they can really trick with anymore has been removed.
Yeah, and that should tell LHM that his utility, the electric claws, have become just so much more impactful. Here comes Yahun, though. The Blackbeard shield is not enough, but the trade might well be. Neko cannot follow up with a second, however, and that means Viper retain the man advantage. A 4v3 for now, the Koreans on this defense, and still a long line of sight to be held. Ramu's going to have to go big. Like you said, has not shown up on the attacking half, not at all like we saw from his defense. Sengoku, they're so close, and only one man down.
They have a very, very strong angle to try and contest that construction door from all the way inside Gym, so this could catch him off guard if they aren't diligent enough to try and find that information, to try and drone things out. But Kim Jun, he's got another thing to worry about. That window on Gym is open as well, so nobody up left online to try and hold that. This angle could have been used by him, but they're going to use it as instead against him. Burn down that shield, and now he's caught between a rock and a hard place. And to be fair, he can be spammed through this as well. So as soon as they get information, that soul reinforcement is all that is keeping him from, well, getting shredded apart.
Neko's looking for a flank opportunity. Gonna also try to find a through floor grenade. Gilia takes a tiny amount of damage, but Ramu's found the pick onto Kim. And this means Sengoku have a numbers equality. The 3-on-3, Ramu goes in, taken down by LHM. No trade. Sengoku locked out of the game. 20 seconds. Neko down to 1 HP. Surely not long for this world, but it's Racial they've got to worry about, as he's still alive. Fallen now, as that diffuser goes cold on the ground. Neko in a 1-on-2, but there's no hope for him. Team Viper once again claim match point.
Team Viper, they've done it twice, but can they make it happen this time? Or are we going to go to another overtime? Well, Sengoku, they're on the defense this time, and just as Team Vipers were, their defense was impeccable the first time around. Both teams winning about 4 rounds per half on the defensive side, and the stats remain true. Then Sengoku should be able to force us into another round here to be played, in which case Team Viper do not want that to be the case. Flores to come out here, Sophia Thermite, nothing too different, lots of big guns on Team Viper's side, but it's going to be Sengoku who is going to have to play off this Kaid. As you saw, as soon as that Maverick is taken off the board, Kaid just gets so much more value out of those Electro Claws. Nobody can deal with what he brings to the table, and so they're going to have to really kind of babysit Gollier here, make sure he doesn't share the same fate as Sengoku's Maverick did the round right prior. Going down to the basement this time, we're going to try and bunker things down, make sure nobody comes towards their way, at least for the meantime, as Sengoku, everything from this map is riding on this round.
It's a big risk from Sengoku as well. We talked about Team Viper last round. By the way, that is a very cheeky claw. Seen that one before. It's not going to get naded off if Team Viper try and clear it the more conventional way by throwing a nade through the floor. But if they drone and check for that position, it will be an easy clear onto the electric claw. But for Sengoku here, it's a big risk. They're going back to a bomb site that they have lost previously on their defense. In the first half, round number 4, they'd already successfully won Church and Arsenal once, and then they lost it on the second try. They managed to get it on the third, but Team Viper, they have a taste of familiarity with this bomb site, and they know that they can take it here. And with match point, they can no doubt smell blood in the water.
It's very interesting that they pick this Church and Arsenal, because that is a site that Viper have seen multiple times, the most out of all, because they played 3 times on their defensive side here for Sengoku. Meanwhile, they've only played Gym and Bedroom once, and Sengoku won that time that they were playing, that they were defending Gym and Bedroom. So they're going now towards the basement, trying to get this thing open. 0-1 clearing his way into that garage. Nobody parked in there so far, but he's gonna make sure to leave a claymore and let that remain to be the case.
calm before the storm now. Only 1 minute in. Viper have a lot of clearing to do. This entire map, 3 floors of it. In fact, the Sengoku seem to be playing quite passively, really reeling it in. Back on the site. You see Viper starting to take this map control, but how much time will they waste in doing so?
This is something that they like to do, but it's a symptom as well that could lead to bigger problems. Because Team Viper, they love, as I said, when taking a basement site, they love clearing all the way from top to down. Second floor, first floor, all the way down. And it leaves them a lot of time with not much time to work with. A lot of those rounds that they do lose on the attacking side are because they have to go for an execute with the last 20, 30 seconds left remaining on the timer. And that hasn't worked out for them so far, neither in Oregon nor here on Clubhouse. So this is going to be potentially a problem for them. Here comes out the Nitro. It's not going to connect in a Galler, but almost does.
Very, very tight. Now Galia looking to get the motor hatch open. Under 1 minute left. Viper not going for kitchen. Not a single round this game has the kitchen hatch been opened. Quite absurd, honestly. And it looks like Viper have no intent of doing so. They'll be going once again for Moto and Blue. As Galia's about to pop open this moto hatch. Potentially some pressure from Dirt. It's just hard to say at this point. Viper, what have you got to show for us here? Match point is yours.
Once again, Dev, they're going to have to execute with the last 30 seconds remaining here of this round, and this hasn't worked out the last time we saw Team Viper do this. So, no church wall open just yet. Neko's going to get that kill. This is looking like a potential another round as Neko gets a double. Kim Jun's going to answer back, bring it down to a 3v4, but blue control is not in their hands as of the moment. Kim Jun coming in for here from that moto. He's going to be taken down as Neko finds a triple in the round. 0-1 answering back, but what little too late it is. Going for the last shot, and Boone will not be able to get the round as we're going to extend this even further. Sengoku, the 3rd time they're going to win here on Basement.
And another fantastic hold from Sengoku, particularly Neko holding on with the Kaid, playing in church and completely denying that moto push from Team Viper. There was no shot that they were going to land that, not when there's a player ready, aggressively peeking and landing shots like he did. Fantastic plays from Sengoku to keep themselves in this. We're going to need all 15 rounds to settle it. There's no more overtime. It ends here. OT match point. Viper, they've let another match point slip. That's the 2nd one this game. Now 3rd time, well, will it be the charm? Sengoku finally have a chance after pushing from the comeback to get this series done right here, right now. Otherwise, we're going to head to map number 3.
Well, Sengoku pulling out the Ying. An operator we've only seen been pulled out once in this entire series, and that's a round that they did win when they pulled out that Ying. But I think this time, though, Team Viper, they're going to be prepared. And Ying is a lot stronger when it comes to attacking the site as opposed to the entirety rest of the other parts of the map, because you know, you don't really want to use too much Candelas for clearing out other rooms that aren't the site itself. So here comes in Sengoku with that Ying and Team Viper. I think what they're going to go for here, knowing Team Viper, their trademark, their hallmark of defense is roaming. Their hallmark, and where they really make that line, where they make their money, is going aggressive on these defensive rounds, and this is the time to do it. Fortune favors the bold. I've said that once, I'm going to say it again because I think Team Viper here have some really, really crazy stuff planned.
Would be a huge opportunity for them. This is elimination point for them right now. Viper, 6th place in the Korean Open, at home with some of the best teams in the Korean region. And for the first time this entire map, Sengoku will be opening up the kitchen hatch. Believe it or not, that is an excellent sign for them. They will have an avenue onto that bomb site. They are looking poised to take it right here, eliminate Viper from the relegation.
Oh, he's made his way all the way down here. Ramu at the cusp of coming and exploding onto the site. And as you said, that kitchen hatch finally being opened the first time around. You know, lots of teams would prioritize that hatch to be open first and foremost, but these teams only deferring to it at the 15th round, the final round of this entire map. It's curious to see. Sengoku, though, to get the opening pick here. Ramu, for him to sneak his way. He's looking like the real snake of this match, and he is going to get them the opening pick that they so desperately needed. Kim Jun has some idea that someone's coming his way, but so does Ramu as well. They're both at a standoff right now.
And Sengoku have a very strong idea that there is a roamer upstairs. That tells them maximum 3 on site. The Sengoku have that semi-final in their sights. This is an elimination match right now. If Viper lose it here, they are out of the relegations and out of contention for APAC North 2022. And in comes the execute. Racial to toss down that Candela. Looking for another now, but caught in between a rock and a hard place. The crossfire proves too strong as Kalia gets the better of him. The diffuser now lies resting inside the bomb site. And Sengoku need to get a move on. LMH! Surely this is not it. This isn't how we push to map 3. Viper have it all before them now. Advantage on their side. And another pick now. Ayakan and Ramu are going to have to come up massively. But Kalia playing inside of Dirt Tunnel is not going to make it easy for them. It's all on Ramu. He's been fantastic this series long, but I don't think he's got what it takes to land a 1 versus 3.
He almost made the
40
clutch
seconds.
happen. Oh, that is it, Dev. Not this time. No more quadruple kills for you. And that shall be it. Map number 3 we go. And we're going to sell the score and the final one of this series. Great job here from Team Viper to answer on back. This was their map pick. Maybe a bit more hard fought than they would have liked, but they get the job done at least at the very end. But there's still one more battle to be waged here by both of these teams, and it's anybody's game at this point.